I'm still waiting to have a good talk about her nearly 10-year affair. I mean, my initial anger is gone, so it should be easier to talk about it, but she's scared of upsetting things. The problem is she has all the information. I only know half-truths and all her excuses, so I'm stuck. Still in the dark.
I know I'm not getting the full story. And I'm struggling with the why of his affairs, even though I doubt it's ever going to really make sense to me. And he says he wants the marriage, but he's not willing to do the hard work to rebuild trust. If I stay, is he just going to hurt me again? And if I go, what's my future going to look like? I'm frozen in place, unable to make a decision.
Welcome to the Affair Recovery Room. I'm Tim Tedder. Today, I want to start with something that, well, it might sound a little strange coming from a counselor who helps couples heal after infidelity. After an affair, stop repairing your marriage.
Welcome to The Recovery Room, a podcast presented by affairhealing.com.
In this healing place, in this healing place.
After an affair, stop repairing your marriage. If all your energy goes into repairing the marriage, admitting the failure, patching the cracks, fixing things back to their original state, and trying to make it look like it used to, you will likely never actually restore trust. Instead, you'll probably end up stuck with an endless cycle of insecurity. Think of marriage as a house that two people agree to build together. They draw up the blueprint that they both commit to, the kind of relationship they both want to build together. And under that house lies the foundation of trust. Everything is built on trust. From the outside, the house looks solid. The foundation at ground level appears secure, holding everything in place. For years, they live in that assumed reality. But one day, unexpectedly, a hidden basement is exposed. What was thought to be the bottom wasn't the bottom at all. Beneath the foundation, beneath the trust, one partner had carved out a secret space for themselves. Something never part of the blueprint. Something carefully hidden. When the basement is discovered, the foundation of trust doesn't just crack, it collapses down into the secret space. The whole house shakes with destruction. As psychologist Omar Minwalla has written, the trauma of infidelity is not only in the sexual betrayal, but in the systematic deception that creates a false reality for the betrayed partner. That's the basement. And it's not just about sex, it's about all the secrets. Now, here's what usually happens in recovery. The couple scrambles to seal up the basement to eliminate further risk. And then they begin to build a new foundation over top of it. From above, their efforts to rebuild begin to take a familiar shape. For their part, the basement builder promises never to go back down there again. And to ensure this, the couple invests energy in accountability checks, setting boundaries, using passwords, scheduling date nights, and utilizing communication tools. And listen, those efforts, they're important. They're part of the process. But if that's all they do, they're only repairing. They're trying to get things back to normal. The problem is, normal was already broken, even before one of them knew about it. Normal included a hidden basement, and now reality is uncertain, confusing.
Oh, okay, that's the last board. We nailed this one across. That should seal it. No more basement.
Jeff, before you covered up, can we at least look around down there?
Oh, no, we don't need to. I told you about it. I admitted it. I'm never going back there again. That's what matters.
You know we're not going anywhere. Right, Jeff?
Did you hear that?
It's just the pipes. Old houses, they make noises.
How long have you had that basement?
I don't know. A while? Yeah, it doesn't matter now.
But when I peeked in, I thought I saw other doors down there.
They're locked. They're nothing. Forget them.
We'll show you another way down here.
There's always another way.
Jeff, who is that?
Shut up. I'm busy.
Jeff, were you just talking to it?
Just talking to myself. Construction stress.
Oh, I thought I knew you, but now I'm not so sure. I mean, it seems important to me to know exactly what's down there.
You'll be back, Jeff. You always come back.
No, I won't.
I'm not sure. I think maybe we should get some help and find out if there's
It's better this way. Once this is closed, we'll never need to think about it again.
You don't need to go down there. Nothing left to see down there. I swear I'll never go down there. At least I hope I won't go back.
That's exactly the trap so many couples fall into after infidelity. The betrayed partner keeps asking, but what's really down there? And the unfaithful one insists, well, don't worry about it. I've sealed it off. Let's just move forward. But betrayed partners stay unsettled. Even years later, they describe walking on shaky ground because deep down they wonder, what if there's another way in? What if another basement is being dug even deeper?
You don't need to go down there. Nothing left to see down there. I swear I'll never go down there. At least I hope I won't go back.
When I conducted a recent survey asking people if they were stuck in their affair recovery, here are some of the responses I received. The trauma for me isn't that the emotional affair happened, but the months of gaslighting and lying once I flagged my suspicions. We started to repair our relationship based on lies, so I'm having a hard time moving forward. Another person wrote, I know my partner has been trying. He's been honest about his affair and frequently assures me that he'll never hurt me like that again. And I believe he means it. But something still makes me feel stuck. I don't understand how this happened or why it won't happen again. The last time I thought I could trust him, he betrayed me. I'm not sure what's different now. Repair alone cannot answer those questions. What needs to happen isn't just repair, it's renovation. Renovation means opening that basement, shining a light inside, and dealing with what's there. That basement holds the details of the affair, yes, but it often holds more than that. It holds the secrets of childhood wounds, feelings of personal shame or inadequacy, private habits, embarrassing truths that are never shared. Now, not every little thing needs to be dragged out into the open, but the power of secrecy has to end. The unfaithful partner needs to become authentic, someone who shows up in the relationship without hiding parts of themselves. That's the only way a true foundation of trust can be rebuilt, by building it underneath everything, including the basement. Let me tell you about two men I worked with. I'll call them Phil and Stephen. Phil's wife was unhappy with their recovery. She wanted more insight into why he had the affair. So Phil and I started meeting, but he wouldn't do the work. He always showed up ready to talk about, well, whatever was on his mind. When I gave him exercises to help uncover hidden patterns, he brushed them off. He insisted he already understood himself. The result? No new insights, no real change, and his wife, I suspect, never felt reassured. Phil may never have another affair, but he stayed guarded and defensive. He never opened the basement. Stephen, on the other hand, he came in saying something very different. He said, I don't understand how this happened. I never thought I'd be that kind of person who'd cheat, but I did. My wife is devastated, and I need to figure this out. He wasn't eager, but he was willing. And that willingness made all the difference. As we worked, Stephen began to see patterns in his life, ways he had kept himself hidden, not just in the affair, but in other areas as well. He admitted to how he had never been truly authentic, completely present in his relationship. And then he made a choice. He wanted to change. And that wasn't instant victory, but it was the first real step in a new direction. For the first time, he and his wife felt hope. The first man, Phil, he patched the cracks. Stephen rebuilt the foundation. As Brené Brown puts it, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. That's what Stephen did. And that's what Phil refused to do. And I want to say this, especially to men. This is the point of great resistance. We've been taught that vulnerability is weakness, that honesty about shame is unnecessary, and that if we just provide and perform, that's enough. But if you've had an affair, those old rules don't work anymore. You can't rebuild trust by just promising fidelity. You have to offer greater authenticity so your partner experiences the real you, the whole you, the open you. That's the version of you that their instincts will sense can be trusted. And yes, that feels risky. But the irony is this: the very risk you've been avoiding is the only pathway to safety in your marriage. Lewis Smedes wrote, "You can forgive someone in a single moment, but rebuilding trust takes a lifetime of vulnerable honesty." Affair recovery tends to focus a lot on reclaiming faithfulness, and that's important. But after a secret reality has been revealed, faithfulness alone isn't enough. Rebuilding trust also requires authenticity. Faithfulness says, "I won't betray you again." Authenticity says, "I won't hide from you again." Without both, the best you'll have is probably a negotiated stability. With both, you can find intimacy again. So, how do you begin the renovation work? I doubt you can do it on your own. You've probably spent so long in the basement that you've learned to view much of it as normal, even though the problems would be evident to an objective observer. You've spent too many years being comfortable with your secrets, ignoring them or justifying them. And so it will be hard for you to gain a true perspective without a different perspective. Read, listen, work with someone who understands this and who will create a safe space for you to explore the things that have been hidden away. Here are the kinds of questions that you probably need to answer. What lessons did I learn as a child that shaped the way I deal with emotions, with relationships, with disappointment or failure? What things do I keep hidden from others? Why do I do that? What keeps me from being vulnerable, from being authentic? What has been my biggest failure? How have I dealt with that? What is my biggest fear? What do I do about that? How do people that matter most to me, my spouse, children, close friends, how do they experience me? What is their opinion of me, especially when it comes to how I've loved them? When I think of my life as a story, am I sincerely satisfied with it? Do I wish it were a different or better story? Would living a better story require a change in circumstances or a change in me? Are there any past pains that I've ignored rather than resolved? Do I harbor anger or resentment? Why won't I let that go? Do I believe I'm lovable? Why or why not? Is there anything hidden that, if it were known, would drastically change people's opinion of me? Is there any dream or desire that I've never shared with anyone? Why? I know that most people hearing this won't do this work. It feels risky, even dangerous. They spent their whole lives protecting those secret things, and one podcast isn't going to change their mind. But maybe Maybe you're listening and you know your way of doing things has led to disappointing outcomes, and you wish there was a better way. There is, but it's not magic. It's a willingness to finally do the hard work. I know this personally because when I finally came to the point of wanting to figure this stuff out in my own life and I started going to counseling, I would listen to what the counselor was saying. I'd be tracking all along, but then he'd come to a certain area and it's like my brain just went static. I couldn't grasp what was being said. It wasn't making sense to me. I felt myself even kind of just pushing it away. And as we examined this, I began to realize that it was every time he started asking questions about vulnerability, I'd just blank out. I didn't want to go there because I had spent a life carefully protecting myself from the need to be fully authentic and genuinely vulnerable. And so if you're listening to this and you've got all the arguments against this in your own mind, if you think it's not necessary, it's ridiculous, I'd challenge you to consider why you are feeling that resistance. It may be the evidence that this is exactly what you need to pay attention to. If infidelity has damaged your marriage or relationship, let me encourage you. Don't just patch the cracks, repaint the walls, seal off the basement, and try to get back to something you had before. Do the harder work of renovation. Expose what was hidden, clean it out, take what you learn and integrate it into a new relationship, because only then can trust be rebuilt, not at the ground level, but underneath everything. Thanks for listening. If this episode was meaningful to you, you'll find more resources for affair recovery at affairhealing.com.